We're in Australia for the second test between the Wallabies and the Dragons of Wales. Written off by the Aussie press, the men in red had a point to prove in the first test last weekend, but despite all the pluses, they couldn't shut the door on Australia, and it proved to haunt them as John Connolly's men struck a late blow.
It's desperate for Wales. It's heartbreaking.
Can Gareth Thomas's men go one better this weekend and claim the win they so desperately want? It's a busy day for rugby fans here on Sky Sports 1. Up next, it is the second test between Australia and Wales, exclusively live from Brisbane. It's game 2 of 4 live matches for you here on Sky Sports today. Kick-off just moments away in the second test between Australia and Wales. Scott Quinnell and Michael Lynagh watching this one with us. Just a few moments to go until kick-off, as we were saying. Jan touched on Stephen Larkham in his pre-match thoughts. Matt Giteau playing with him at 9. Is he the answer, do you think, at the moment for Australia?
Matt Giteau, I think George Gregan is a very experienced player, good captain in the day and as well, but I think it's all about today giving time at number 9 to Matt Giteau. I can't help thinking that when it comes to World Cup time, that sort of thing, Gregan, Larkham and with Giteau at 12, I can't help thinking that that's the best combination for Australia. But with Giteau, he is very, very dangerous at 9, and it's not a position he's played a lot at. So I think this is all about giving him time, giving him experience in that position. But he is a very dangerous player there and a great asset for Australia when he's on the field in any position, really.
They haven't really got strength and depth in Australia, and I think what Scott Johnson's been saying in the press, he brings something different to George Gregan. The fact that he likes to snipe, and he's a different sort of player. He said he's a different sort of player to any player in the world playing 9 at the moment. But he needs time to bed in there, and if they're going to do World Cup, and Australia, you know, won 2 World Cups, 91, 99, they're the type of side that can go into these competitions and really come out of it with distinction. You know, they do know how to win, and they showed that last week because they had the patience to go on and win that game. And in fairness to him, you know, a young number 9, he spots that. Mike Phillips pushes out, spots a hole, and he's got the pace to take it.
Yeah, the other thing with the Giteau...
Sorry, Michael, we've got to butt in because it's almost kick-off. Wales have got to keep their eye on Matt Giteau. Let's cross over to Brisbane, where commentary comes from Ian Evans and Will Chignall. Sorry.
Wales then, within a whisker of a memorable win 7 days ago, now have the pain, frustration and belief to settle the score tonight. It's the last match in the long season. It's the last time to hammer home a psychological blow before these two famous rugby nations meet in the World Cup in Pool B on September the 15th. Expect both sides to go at each other in a major way.
I think Wales will be hoping and praying that they have the perfect start as they had last weekend as well. A 17-point start. Good to see some howling mistakes by Australia. I see a little bit on the nervous that they don't start in a similar vein and allow Wales to open up that gap.
So Gareth Jenkins has been saying that his side can produce another 30%, that they need an upturn in performance from the first test. Expect this clash to be up another notch in terms of intensity and slickness. Can they record their first win against the Wallabies in Australia in nearly 40 years? This is a big chance. Wales want to be respected as one of World Rugby's big hitters, home or away.
And there's no doubt the squad out here really impressed Gareth Jenkins and their attitude and their application here as well. And there's no doubt those 18 players still at home would have strengthened their charge, but it's all about preparing for Rugby World Cup. That's uppermost in Gareth Jenkins' mind.
Here's the Wales team. Kerry Jones comes in at tight head as Adam Jones has failed the fitness test on his calf. Meffin Davies wins his 38th cap, replacing Matthew Rees at hooker. Brent Cobain got a knock on the head in the first test, and so Michael Owen slots in. The impressive back row of Colin Jarvis and Gavin and Jonathan Thomas remain the same. Lee Burns replaced by skipper Gareth Thomas at fullback. Chris Chekai moves to the right wing. Speedster Aled Brew comes in on the left. As for the halfbacks, well, Mike Phillips and James Hook will look to run the game with ruthless efficiency.
But it's all about that forward platform. There's Meffin Davies in shot there. Can you get that line out to click? It didn't click in our first test and really didn't allow Wales to develop a platform and develop a pattern of play. And they want to get that right and also bring some of those runners they've got in the backfield. The likes of Ali Brook will want to create an impression here, and Gareth Thomas, the ability to run in this Australian defence. It's all about getting that primary possession.
Australia will no doubt want to prove that they weren't lucky winners last week. Wales will be desperate to show they're the better of the two teams and deserve the spoils, not just last Saturday, but tonight as well. James Hook what an important head-to-head. Maybe one of the greats of the future against one of the number 10 greats of the present.
Oh, very much so. Stephen Larkham, a true legend of the game. James Hook is a man with a bright future, and he's learnt game by game how to run a game and control a game, and that tactical awareness is what he wants from the outside half.
Well, the Wallabies got a mighty fright in Sydney, fortunate to squeak home in the dying seconds. They'll be focused and determined to put the record straight as they see it. They were heavy favourites last time and expected to seal the deal again. In front of their home crowd, the pressure is on to kickstart their gradual build towards the World Cup.
They said the pressure is on, definitely. Want to generate some momentum, want to get that selection right in order for the challenge that's going to hit them in September.
This is this weekend's selection. Ben Robinson replaces Matt Dunning at loosehead. 6'8" Dan Vickerman takes Mark Chisholm's lock spot. George Smith continues his long-running selectorial battle with Phil Warren, gets the nod at 7 tonight. Matt Gitto stays at 9. Stephen Larkham has again struggled to shade his hamstring injury this week, but does start. On the right wing, 21-year-old Digby Ione makes his debut. There he is. He's razor sharp, fantastic footwork. Keep an eye on him tonight.
I think Stephen Larkham want to get the ball in Ione's hands. Andrew Mitchell alongside him there. They were very lateral and predictable last weekend. Understandable, really. Sam Norton basically had 24 hours in which to prepare for the test, and really the precision wasn't there, and that's what Stephen Larkham's known for, his distribution skills and his awareness and his appreciation of people around him.
The Aussies feel they've knocked the rust off, but are feeling the heat from the press and ex-players alike. Now the national anthems. There's a very good crowd here at the Suncorp Stadium. There's a mouth-watering unpredictability about this game. Now, advanced Australia fair.
For we are young and free, we've golden soil and well-fought toil. Our home is good, I see. Our land abounds in ancient skips of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every state advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
The atmosphere is good. The pitch is tight, the stands come right up to the edge of the touchline. As for conditions, well, it's started to spit a little bit, so the conditions a little bit greasy.
Yeah, it's a firm surface as well, so the ball might well skid along out there. The kicking game is going to be important tonight for both sides.
George Gregan again on the bench. It's the first time in over a decade that the world's most capped player has sat with the reserves twice in a row. For Wales, Chris Horseman's been in the country just over 24 hours and covers prop. Scott Morgan will look to make his debut. Robin Sowden, Taylor and Andy Williams make the 22 for the first time on tour and will be itching to make an impact. Well, what a first test it was. Wales with a 17-0 early lead in front with 30 seconds to go after a fascinating match. Australia, though, at the death, snatching victory. Gill referee Paul Honnis, touch judges Jonathan Kaplan and Mark Lawrence. Ashley Cooper didn't get much ball in the first test. He's been given another shot at it.
Well, he was ignored nearly every movement. The Australian backline man was a miss one. Trying to get the ball in Mortlock's hands, and really Ashley Cooper had no chance to put an impact on the game whatsoever, and that problem 12 slot for Australia.
Larkin with his hamstring problem. James Hook, man of the match last week, straight to Palu. Gitto at 9, up it goes, greasy conditions. Larkin try to get hold of that. That's better. Chekai looking sparky, first touch for him.
He did well not to offload that. So
5 goal on his feet.
possible interception there.
The ball.
Decided to hold on to it, but guilty of holding on to the ball on the ground. Under pressure. And Daniel Vickerman. See his feet, looked to offload, but Ashley Cooper was trying to prevent that pass. He did well to hold on to it.
And it was a good nudge towards the corner flag. And Gitto will hope for a really good line-out ball. And Bashar calls the line-outs, but Vickerman, 6'8", is back.
Yeah, terrific play, no doubt about it. A big plus to the Australian pack, there's no doubt about it. And this is an element of the game. Australia will be confident. Wales's problems in that area last week.
More throws to the tail, and that's slick. This is Gitto. Palu banging it up, and he makes good headway. Options left and right. Gitto now flicks it out to Larkham. Mortlock gets cut down by Robinson. Gitto shovels it out, and the Wales back row onto that one quickly. Jarvis is there, who had such a huge game last week, and then it was thumped upfield there by Brew.
You can see the difficulty underfoot already. Players slipping out there. It is very greasy, and a firm surface underneath that sort of moisture as well. Brew there, put that ball away.
Timed it well, didn't he?
And Gitto not quite sharp enough to get that ball. He's looking ahead to see who's going to pass to before he got the ball in his hands.
Brew just 20, opposite Ione, who's 21. Digby Ione making his debut.
Yeah, looking forward to that tussle between those two wings. Brew, a very physical player, good ball carrier, one around to the ball. Probably see an awful lot of him taking the ball off. James Hook off the outside half. Only a speedster, a genuine speedster and a stepper. Read some of that Scott Johnson, thought he could beat people in a telephone kiosk.
That's right, doesn't he? He had a bit of the Shane Williams, Jason Robinson-esque attitude to running the ball, he said. Still a little bit raw in terms of his skills, maybe under the high ball. Will Wales try and expose him? Gitto whips it out to Ashley Cooper. Bashes it up. He doesn't mind doing that. Huxley didn't manage to get hold of that, and Wales will be very thankful for the turnover. Phillips has a little look and bangs it downfield.
Scrum down red.
Mitchell to get back there. He realised the box kick was on and ran back. Good turnover from Wales. Yet again, terrific hands by Michael Owen in pulling that ball in. Sort of guilty of forcing the pass a little bit there. Yeah, he's looked to pass before he got hold of the ball. And Michael Owen, terrific hands, and that's what you get from a guy who's comfortable in the number 8 slot as well. And it's a big game for Michael Owen this evening. Force his way back in consideration for the autumn.
Now the front row, Thomas Davis and Kerry Jones. Kerry Jones coming in late. He's a preferred loose head, playing tight head tonight.
Yeah, big step. Big step up for Kerry Jones. This is a part of the game. The line, we talked about the line-out, but also the scrum. Any Wales weren't able to build any sort of momentum, any play going from the set piece, and use that ball because of the lack of quality. You see George Gregan on the touchline.
I think there might be a game within a game in the second half when he possibly will come on and Gitto will slide out to maybe
wait for the engage call, please.
inside centre.
Both teams.
Picking up what Michael had to say in the studio before the game. I think Gitto will play wherever the need is greater. Which really doesn't allow the development of this back line. Is Gitto going to play 9? Is he going to play 10? Is he going to play 12? It's a conundrum. A very talented player.
Okay.
So Paul Hon as the referee. Be keen to sort this out.
Okay, let's talk. I want you straight and binding, please. Bind up, straight. Crouch. Touch, pause, engage.
Phillips, 6'3", ultra competitive, puts the ball in. Up it goes. And the tackle goes in. Huxley was there to get hold of it after it was coughed up from Mitchell.
A big hit by Ali Brewer Mitchell there.
Will be good for Brew's confidence. He's going through, really trying to get himself involved, but over-eager there.
11 red. Too early.
Inside, Paul Hon is picking Ali Brew there. Very eager to impress. It's a big hit. Drew Mitchell came down. Lined him up nicely. Touch and go whether he got his feet back on the ground before he hit him. The referee gave him the benefit of the doubt. That time, he didn't give him the benefit and penalised him for offside.
And the last time Honest refereed here, it was last year when the Aussies beat South Africa 49-0. A year in rugby, a long time, let alone a week.
Pendulum has swung very much in South Africa's favour. The regional sides, provincial sides, are very much on a hot run at the moment.
Moore throws in. That's slick for Gitto, but the referee says I'm not happy with that.
Option red number 8.
And the line-out, which was very good for the Wallabies last week, maybe showing a crack there.
They're not straight there.
So the Wales halfbacks put up a couple of box kicks already.
You see the kicking game an important facet of Wales' tactics today. Pressure.
Crouch. Touch.
Certainly on back three. Not much game time together.
Driven up well by Jonathan Thomas, and he made good headway there.
Cross forward, red 9.
Fortunately, just that small nudge forward.
Yeah, fix it up.
There's a small little error that prevented the momentum. Prevent a pattern of play coming. James Hook has barely touched the ball so far.
Boot off.
Nice little pick up from Jonathan Thomas there. Michael Phillips helped him along by creating a bit of an opening.
Kerry Jones, the Harlequins prop, got 10 minutes last test when making his debut, playing tight head.
You can see Gitto being pushed out of the way a little bit there by Mike Phillips. Almost enjoyed that little opening created by his scrum half there. And again, he didn't pick up what there was needed there from Michael Phillips. Just nudged on.
Australia might be looking a little fragile, but they are very good at home. They've won 6 of the last 7 games on home soil.
And they enjoy playing in Queensland as well. Terrific record up here.
29-23. They won in the end last week. 22-23 they were losing after the hooter had sounded.
Yeah, heartbreaking for Wales. 90 seconds away from securing a tremendous victory. Really given little or no hope when they arrived at these shores.
Now the Wallabies all line up.
If you angle in, you leave me no option but to penalise you, okay? Stay straight.
Bernie on this near side, but it needs to be clean, good ball.
Wales, stand up and come off the mark, please.
Kerry Jones been warned there by Paul Honest.
Crouch. Touch. Pause. Goal 3. Let it go. 9.
Free kick going to Wales, and the visitors will be very pleased with that, and they're off and running. Here's Brew deciding to chip and chase. Too much on that.
Yeah, got a bit excited there. Brew, a bit of space. He needs to keep that ball in his hands. He enjoys a period of possession and ball retention here. Probably should have stepped in field a little bit. but he let Joe Mitchell feel that as well. Took his frustration out in his opposite number.
Giteau to Palu. Giteau was under pressure then. Palu steps into that tackle, and Hook was the man that made the tackle there. Now the Wallabies trying to work their way through the phases aggressively. Giteau with the service, and Larkham drifting onto that pass. Nice inside ball. Brilliant there. Sharp. Nice pass as well. The Wallabies are looking good. Mortlock stepping in. It was knocked forward, and Wales get back and just about retrieve the situation.
That was a last gasp tackle from Sonny Parker there. Sonny Mortlock dropped the shoulder to go in. Actually carved open the Welsh defence there. How easily diving in. And Michael Owen dove in there. A chance for Sharp to get the ball away. George Smith, early chance. You can see the shoulder in. And a great tackle there by Sonny Parker. Knocked that ball out. Must serve, I think, a certain try. But that's the danger, that's the threat that Australia pose.
Already looking so much slicker with Larkham, and the Wallabies trying to turn the ball over. And they've done better than that. Wales not releasing, so first chance at 3 points, or maybe going for the line-out catch and try time.
And they talked about the tackle there from Sonny Parker, and a great tackle from Matt Giteau that time. Turning Jonathan Thomas. That's a great tackle. Good strength. Good everybody. Use the momentum. Jonathan Thomas momentum to turn him. And Australia were there in numbers.
Giteau known as Kid Dynamite. And much as he's a threat with ball in hand, showing that he's a tough cookie as well.
He's a very spiky character. Enjoys the challenge. He's the superstar of the Australian game. The question is where they play him.
Mortlock captain tonight, named as co-captain for the series. Phil Waugh was skipper last week, and he now gets a chance to put 3 points on the board for his team. Hooking that one in. 3-0.
Sonny Mortlock will enjoy putting those points over. Enjoyed some good field position in the game so far. After 11 minutes, 3-0 up. Central relief from Sonny Mortlock there as well. Far better start than they enjoyed last weekend.
Jarvis was huge last week. Nathan Sharp was also massive in terms of his performance. So Hook, it's much better hang time, gives his forwards a chance to get to the catcher. Giteau sliding and then whipping it to Ashley Cooper. Steps out and then straightens. Gavin Thomas was in there to try and steal the ball, and Jarvis went down on it. The ball slipping, sliding all over the place. But a penalty comes, an immediate chance now for Wales to equal the scores.
Yeah, Colin Jarvis was there at the breakdown. Hands hold on to the ball. Ashley Cooper. You see Gavin Thomas just trying to get the ball back. And again, there's a nice little break by Ashley Cooper initially, go past Jamie Robinson. He's have to be very wary of that. And again, a good chance for James Hook to pull it all level again, a 3 points all.
James Hook, just 21. Only had one blip last week when he missed in front of the post, but showed his steely resolve to nail that drop kick immediately afterwards. He's a cool customer, isn't he?
Yeah, very much so. When you play in key pivotal positions, it's about temperament as much as talent. And to be able to put that in the back of his mind, and lock it away, and then put a drop goal over. Shows the type of temperament he's got.
I'm sure he'd knocked these ones over in the training paddock in his sleep, but this is in front of 40,000+ against Australia. The cheers from the Wallaby crowd will tell you he's missed it.
Yeah, he didn't look happy with that as soon as he struck it. He's looking there. There's a chance. You can see Nigel Davis, Ronald Bride and Gareth Jenkins, the Welsh management team. And there was a chance to reply almost immediately to that 3 points from Sterling Mortlock.
Huxley flicks it up high. Well taken there. Michael Owen playing in the second row. Number 8, Jonathan Thomas, taking it aggressively into contact. Parker and Chekai cutting in to keep the ball alive. Phillips there at the base. Hook. Robinson slips his way past the tackler Sharp. Phillips looking to inject some pace, and this is really good. And Jones, oh, that's lovely. There's a chance on here. Sidoli, Chekai, the Wallabies get across, and just for a moment you thought Wales had found some space there.
That was good play by Wales. Unfortunately, they couldn't stay in field.
Lost forward, Reid.
That's some terrific handling there from the forwards as much as the backs as well. Good interplay, nice offloading, kept the momentum going. A lot of the ball retention, lovely offload to Kerry Jones there from Michael Phillips. Try and get width in the game. Really desperate. Good tackler by Huxley, really pressurised. Chris Chekai, he's forced to try and offload. A good period there from Wales.
Now can Wales try and squeeze the Wallabies. Palu picks up and goes across the field. Huxley is waiting in the shotgun position to clear the lines. He gets it now. He's under pressure from Chavez, but he does well.
Good play by Huxley. Initially in defence against Chekai. Nice clearance under pressure, as you mentioned. Wales want to spend some time in the Australian half here. Try and pose some questions to this Australian side.
Meffin Davies then.
Thank you. Hold on there, please, too.
To put the ball in.
Option.
And the Wallabies have had a crooked one, and now Wales haven't got it straight enough.
Both forwards are putting pressure on the opposition throw. The pressure's coming on from Nathan Sharp at the front there.
Not too far away, Rick. Come forward, please.
See Wales using the options on Michael Owen at the front. Good hands on the second row.
Pause, engage. Now leave him half, Red.
Palu leaving it for Gitter. Larkham. Mortlock. Huxley well over the gain line here, and Mitchell gets hunted down eventually, but look at the metres that they've made as Wales tried to reorganise their defence. As Palu cutting back.
Wales have got to make their first up tackles. Can't afford to get Australia get past them.
Huxley, it's high, it's too long, but it's still a dangerous one because it's bouncing. It bounces kindly for Gareth Thomas. Going back for the penalty offside from the Welsh defensive line.
You never know how rugby ball is going to bounce. It's a very firm surface here. Gareth Thomas over his heart and his mouth there. Could have bounced back into Larkham's hands. Very speaking on this first phase possession. Wales drifted very well in that first test. That time, Jamie Robinson was straightening to get out to Huxley there. That allowed Huxley to get past over the gain line. And that's key. That's key, getting over the gain line. Good quality second phase ball. And you see the strength of Palu carrying the ball nicely. Wales can't afford Australia to get over the gain line from first phase, really.
Kitto plays with Palu and is running there. Now it's up to the skipper Mortlock.
In the first half performance in particular from Australia in the first test, very predictable. There was a missed one pass to Mortlock through the whole of that first half. This time already they're offering something different. They're posing different questions to this Welsh defence. They were very comfortable in the first test. This time they're stretching them off further and using those powerful runners further wide.
Yes, creeps it inside, and it's 6-0. Taking advantage every time they get into the red zone. Australia coming out with points.
John Conlon will be pleased. Mike Foley, the assistant coach, alongside him as well. He's the start from Australia. And as I said, they've taken the points, so they've And they've got there. They cut down on the error count as well.
It's been dropped there by Sharp, but it went backwards, says the referee. This is Ione with his first real touch with the ball.
Accidental offside. Gold knee to a player in front. Okay, thank you.
So Wales will get a very good position now from an accidental offside. Can they cut the Wallabies now? Are they slickly pre-rehearsed move?
Yeah, it's all about the quality of the possession from the scrum. They're going to be able to play off the scrum, and that was the key thing they couldn't do in that first test.
Touch, pause, engage.
Checkey's drifted in behind James Hook.
Paul Honest want to get a grip on this scrum.
They've had a warning, you've had a warning. From now on, free kicks. Stay until you hear the engage call.
See, Paul Honest is not happy. They want a lot of resets.
Touch, pause, engage. Settle it. Use it.
Use it, says the referee, and it's not a nice ball for Michael Phillips to get a hold of. Gitto tries to drive him through, and the Wallabies very aggressive at the breakdown there.
So the stats will show that's a scrimmage won by Wales, but really the quality of the possession couldn't do anything with that. Scrum was going backwards. It's no option really. The stimmies Wales a chance of taking this in defence on further out wide.
Number 2, if I have to ask you again to step over the mark, I will free kick you. All right? Stay on the mark.
And the Welsh front row getting a little bit of chat there. There's Takiri officially being rested. Does that mean kick up the backside?
Probably a little bit. I wouldn't want to be kicking him up the backside. He's a formidable player, no doubt about it. Top quality winger. No doubt they'll see a lot of him throughout the Tri-Nations.
Here's Larkham with that. Mr. Morlock, but the unforced error gives Wales a chance in the middle of the paddock. Options left and right with their scrum now again.
Very much so. You can see that was a decent pass from Larkham, as you would expect. That should have been taken. He had a sense of frustration on Mortlock's face as well. He knew he should have taken that. But then sense that they're attacking wider channel. This evening they did last Saturday. And he knows that was a bad mistake.
Quite a few of those in the first test, weren't there?
Yeah, but the quality of Larkham's pass is a little bit better than Sam Norton's night. And really the precision wasn't there last week.
Touch, pause,
far better this weekend, as you would expect in the second test.
Phillips flipped it inside, and there was nobody there. There's a better scrum, mind you. Gavin Thomas takes it up to restart the move at Owen. Jabin Robinson trying to flick it behind Ione, but it's being picked up by the young speedster.
It was the right idea from Jamie Robinson, just a poor kick really.
Huxley clearing his lines, and a very good kick as well. Larkham quite happy to let his fullback do the kicking.
Yeah, he's far more comfortable in that role as well. Good kicking game, Julian Huxley. See Australia will use him. Larkham probably known for more his distribution, running skills and his distance kicking.
There's been quite a drama with his hamstring for Stephen Larkham. Julian Huxley, of course, Chris Latham is injured, giving the fullback his chance. Sidoli taking that. Phillips, not interested at the moment in getting hold of it. Now hovers. And it's the forwards now who explode away, and that's really good. Chekai looking to go himself. He's on his own at the moment. Doesn't get isolated. Sidoli goes back. The referee very quick to blow his whistle. That doesn't look good.
That does not look good at all. He knew he'd done something. A screech of pain from him. As his position. Oh, well, that does not look good at all. He knew something was wrong there. Twisted on his knee. The groan from the crowd. They've seen it on the big screen as well.
Well, there are three backs on the bench. Andy Williams, 9, Kerry Sweeney, 10 or 12, or Gavin Henson. So looks as though Gavin Henson will come on, and maybe Gareth Thomas will go onto the wing.
That's not what you want to see from a young man. Maybe he's winning the international stage.
Henson hovers on the touchline, and with greasy conditions and maybe something of a kicking game being played, Henson isn't a bad person to have to boom the ball down deep.
Yeah, we'll bring a big kicking game to bear. The ball skidding off the ground here as well. The tactical aspect, the tactical kicking game is so important now. You play your game. Position 22, put pressure on the opposition as well. Force them to make mistakes. And as you said, a lot of balls rather greasy out there as well. There's always the tendency to make mistakes, but at this moment in time, I think, well, the concern from Wales is for Chris Chekai. The injury isn't too serious.
So Wales trailing by 6, just that one penalty chance from James Hook. And after the press have been hammering them before the first test about their inexperience, again in this second they're 70 caps more experienced. Okay, they got the young thrusters from the likes of Aled Brew, but they will feel with a quarter of the game gone that they are well into this match. Just need to take their advantages. Their away form though, well, it's not great. They've lost their last 8 away games. This is the perfect way to stop that stat from growing.
There's a chance. This tour is also about individuals putting their case forward. The selection for the summer and into the autumn on the World Cup.
So Henson goes to fullback, Gareth Thomas goes to the right wing, Aled Brew on the left. Free kick to Wales and taken by Phillips. Thomas, he spilt that one. Referee saying that the Wallabies weren't 10, so Wales will get another shot at it.
Yeah, Jonathan Thomas got away with that. And Evan Jonathan Thomas in that tackle, losing that ball. Again, not 10 yards, they get another shot at it.
Phillips gets smacked by Palu, and the Wallabies saw that one coming.
A little bit telegraphed, that little tap move.
Justin Thomas takes that round the fringe, and now the leg drive tries to create a little bit of momentum. Phillips, Hook having a go and offloading after the tackle. Wallabies trying to turn the man there, and Phillips, Chavez cleans through, and Meffin Davis again, another metre or so.
Good pick up and goes, good offloading as well. It's a great offload with Hook, an even better take by Michael Owen.
Hook, Gavin Thomas draws his man. Jonathan Thomas there goes to the deck. Hook in there. Owen was more accustomed with 8 on his back, but doing the lock's job tonight. Play on, says a referee, and down went Sharp. George Smith caught there. Advantage was initially to Wales, but
good scrambling with both sides. Both sides trying to prevent the other one from getting good quality possession. First of all, Mike Phillips having the ball knocked out of his hands, and good work by Nathan Sharp on the floor there. But yet again, James Hook, as he did in the first test a couple of times, knocking the ball out of Australian hands. One time, George Smith losing the ball.
Pause, engage.
All the Welsh backs on the far side.
I've warned you twice.
Penalty to the Wallabies.
Outside shoulder.
Kerry Jones being warned twice, so says Honnis, and now the penalty comes.
Yeah, he's warned him a couple of times now. Coming in with the inside shoulder. And obviously hasn't played tight end for some time. In the 2004-2005 season he played for the Quins, the Heineken Cup at tight end.
So quite a few minutes played in the Wallaby half there, but the pressure relieved.
Because obviously I keep up with all the news on tight end props.
You're smart. Attention to detail. Henson looking to find his old form. Giteau isn't going to release the backs.
And yeah, the groan there from Stephen Moore, the Australian hooker. The throw was not a good throw.
Kerry Jones, no doubt, will be put under more pressure. Ben Robinson, his opposite number, but that was good. Phillips, Hook, Henson. The ball sits up and pops over the touchline.
A nice little bounce there from Henson. Didn't quite time it properly. But you'll see an awful lot of that from Wales. His ability out wide. And as soon as the opposition defence move up to make the tackle, you see that big kick, the ball behind them.
Line-outs by far from secure for both sides.
Neither side are really generating quality possession and the sort of numbers they would want.
Gitto, Larkham, Mortlock inside his 22. Squirts that upfield.
They come off the side of the boot a little bit there. A little bit more distance from that kick. And really, not much pattern to the game. That's all. Neither side are able to go through the phases, really hold on to the ball long enough. And a lot of the ball is scrappy ball. You see Chris Horseman on the bench. I don't know if he'll make an appearance in the second half for Wales. Just come off the plane with his jet lags, right?
Yeah, he watched the first test in a bar in Greece having his holidays. He could well play a part. This is Phillips. Bashed up by Parker. And now the runners line up. Owen. Phillips whipping it out of Hook. Hook flicking it to Robinson. Wales trying to get this ball quickly. Again, Michael Owen looking for work, and if possible, he of course loves to unload to keep the momentum there. This is Hook again, sliding and getting caught by Gitto. Henson, it went backwards.
Hook been isolated a little bit there.
Hook decides to go cross-field. There's no chaser at all, so he'll hope it goes into the corner. They've got a lot of time, Australia. It's the two props that were actually covering that one. So Mitchell's quite happy to smash that one downfield, and what a good strike that was.
That was the problem there. It was a decent kick from Hook. He didn't realise that the two chasers were in fact the props. Really drew Mitchell, had no pressure on him at all, but a terrific kick by Mitchell downfield. A good 50-60 metres gained. See Jamie Robinson now injured there. I don't know anything going to happen to him. But it's the first few times you've seen the last movement from Wales. You saw Sonny Parker and Jamie Robinson carry the ball. It's the first time you've seen that in the game so far.
Jamie Robinson had bruised hip off the back of the first test, as did Sonny Parker actually. Got that breakaway try last week. Larkham just flicking it out of his hands. He hasn't put boot to ball, I think, so far in the first 27 minutes.
Now he'll want to bring those runners. You see the likes of Mortlock, Ashley Cooper, and Paolo when he's standing in the backfield as well. Play. He's a sublime passer of the ball. That's where his strength lies. Australia enjoying again probably the bulk of possession.
Ben Robinson, he's 22, a pup in props terms, but he's having a go at Kerry Jones. So the referee says play on, so Wales down a man in the centre at the moment. Not straight.
Yeah, another not straight. Both sides guilty now. And the ball straight back to the opposition. I don't know whether the ball's a little bit greasy out there or not, because they've been guilty of several not straights. You just can't afford that to happen, particularly when you're just outside your own 22.
Jamie Robinson's still struggling, and no doubt the Wallabies would have seen that. Sterling Mortlock keeping a close eye on his opposite number, no doubt.
Gentlemen, just quiet, please. If you pull out, I'll free kick you. Stay down. Here's the mark.
Wickham back after his shoulder injury to the starting lineup. Here's Sharp, some real grunt and power in the engine room there now for the Wallabies.
Touch, pause, engage.
Palu waits, as does Gitto. Gitto, Larkham running at the line, and Mitchell on his shoulder. Good ball now, Gitto goes.
Get off and take that.
Gets caught though. Turnover. Jarvis, he says, let's get rid of this one. He smacks that upfield.
That was great play by Gavin Thomas, making the tackle, getting up on his feet and stealing that. And his back row partner, Colin Jarvis, put a touch finder in as well, but great play by Gavin Thomas. You see Paul Larkin, Stephen Larkin taking the ball all the way up to the line. Made it very hard for defence. Look at that tackle by Gavin Thomas, back on his feet, and actually gets that ball knocked away as well. Good hands to relieve the pressure. And you see what Larkin does, takes it all the way to the line. Makes it very hard for defences. You see Jamie Robinson limping off.
Kerry Sweeney comes in, and he's gone inside James Hook to the 10 channel, at least defensively.
Whatever you can do, I can do better. This time, Stephen Moore guilty. Look at that, there's 5 not straights already in this first half. Well, the ball is too, as I mentioned before, it is rather greasy out there. Moisture in the air. It's a very disappointed Jamie Robinson, who's got that try in the first test.
Pause, engage.
So quite a rejigging of the back line. Robinson and Chekai off already, but this is Phillips who chips that one up. Gareth Thomas chases. Ball gets flicked in field. The crowd don't like it. That, of course, is an irrelevance. Oh, touch judge has had a word with Honest, taking the man in the air.
Gareth Thomas there, good pressure. I see Drew Mitchell going up. That was a close call. There wasn't an awful lot on that, I must admit. Nice box kick from Mike Phillips, though. Allowing Gareth Thomas to get there with the chase the same time as Drew Mitchell caught the ball.
Wales leaking the penalty 6-1.
Yeah, Wales will be concerned about that. A little bit of discipline. A little bit of pressure by Australia, though.
The Aussies get their line out right. And now drive to start with. Shepardson and Moore and George Smith going in there at the back. Kitto telling Robinson to get his head down and shove. Gavin Thomas in the thick of it, trying to make a nuisance of himself.
No advantage. In the side and 4 red collapsing them all as well. 4 red collapsing as well.
Yeah, and you would have 2 penalties to be given there. I think Gavin Thomas could be coming in from an offside. And also Michael Owen collapsing it. But good drive there from Australian pack. Good line-up ball. That's the value a good line-up ball gives you. And neither side will generate enough of that.
Mortlock had a look at the uprights and obviously weighed it up in his mind, but has decided that it's time to push this one into the corner and turn the screw as we go towards half-time. But Huxley, has he blown his chance? He has.
Oh, that's a huge error from Julian Huxley. No, he got a bit too greedy there. He needed to do. And again, there's no point kicking to the corner. The ball comes back 5 yards anyway. A little bit too greedy there. Sterling Mortlock would not be happy after deciding not to go for the goal. And then seeing his full back, put the ball straight back to Wales.
So Wales looking for that solid scrum.
Against red before the call.
But Wales engaging before the call, says the referee. That was not forward, so we're going to have another scrum. But Wales not 10, so another free kick. Pretty disjointed.
Pretty disjointed. Honest is blowing his whistle an awful lot at the moment as well.
I think it might be a ticking off time.
I can't tell you how to play the game. I can only referee what unfolds in front of me tonight. But I want some better player attitude. There's no attitude at the moment. It's all negative. Can we have some positive play, please? Both sides, positive play.
Paul Hollis wants to enjoy himself as well. There's a lot of errors as well. Some are forced, a lot of them are unforced at the moment, and that's contributing to it. Disjointed game, pretty similar to last weekend as well. You see the nerves on both sides. Sides are keen to impress.
If Wales can win here, it really would be a blow below the waterline psychologically for the Wallabies going into the World Cup, wouldn't it?
Waiting on the hits. Play.
Paddock and Smith now. He says, I'm going to take this one, and he coughs it up. And Much as the Wallabies promised that they would be a lot slicker and they'd knock the rust off after the first test. The errors are still coming, and there's no real advantage, says a referee, as Sweeney put it down the throat of Mitchell. So it's scrum time in the middle of the pitch on the 22.
Yeah, how often we've seen this in this first half, really. Real fierce play. How too often players getting the ball knocked out of their hands and trying to force the pass. They're forced to play as well. George Smith already made a couple of handling errors in this game. It's not what you expect from George Smith.
Number 2 goal.
Kerry Jones is down. And the set pieces for both sides
you two are responsible for
have not been great, have they?
Yes, and coming through for the engagement. All right? I'm holding you responsible. You are both beating the call. We will go to penalties if I have to. Can I ask a question? You can.
The referee giving Methven Davies and Stephen Moore ticking off.
Excuse me, you're pulling.
Methven Davies questioning.
I saw you as pulling back after
engage was supposed to happen.
We're talking about beating the engaged call here. We work together. We work together.
I think it was the second or third lecture we heard from Paul Hornis. He's not a happy man. He really isn't. Been the most entertaining of first halves. Really frustrating for all.
Time on. Put into Wales.
Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage. Let's go, Use it.
Again.
7 goals. No
Wallabies
bind.
putting the pressure on, but it was George Smith with no binding that has given Wales a chance now to clear their lines with a full penalty.
And this is getting even more frustrating at the moment. He seems to go from first phase to turnover to penalty and indiscretion to the next. He is.
Hook. Can he find his touch? He can just.
It was a decent kick by Hook. Sometimes the criticism of James Hook when he kicks the touch, he really doesn't gain huge distances. Sometimes when you try and relieve pressure.
He's borrowed your makeup.
From James Bond, does it?
Methven Davies will be desperate to get this line out straight, get this line out slick.
I said about James Hook kicking to touch. That time was a lot better. But you've also got the ability to use Gavin Henson as well in his kicking ability to touch.
Beautifully timed from the Wallabies. They read that immaculately. Gitto comes up to give it to Larkham, and Larkham gives a nasty one to Ashley Cooper, who picks that one off his toes to recycle it. Jarvis trying to get into Gitto.
8 red, straight on the side.
It's Jonathan Thomas, I think.
It was a good steal by Dan Vickerman in that line out as well. As he had another offside.
Referee's getting frustrated now.
He's coming from the side. We're still having penalties for silly things that shouldn't be happening 40 minutes into the game. Get a message to your players. If it continues, I'll have to sin bin somebody. Yep.
Looks like a yellow card is being warmed up.
Well, he was warning Paul Hornis, telling him need that ball come out. I think it's more of a case of Jonathan Thomas than Colin Jarvis there.
And Huxley wasn't the man to find the touch. Gitto got hold of the ball. It was he that found the sanctuary of the touchline there.
This goal at the moment really be annoying Australia. You really have quite often deep within the Welsh territory. We really haven't capitalised on that enough. Wales would be relieved to be barely 6 points down.
Wales not contesting that line out, deciding to try and counter drive there. This is Palu from a standing start and doing extremely well. Gitto, Larkham showing and hitting the red wall. Gitto. Smith trying to roll his way inside, but finding Methven Davies.
Good pressure from the Welsh defence.
And again, the tackles come in on the gain line. Larkham drops it. Backwards, says the referee. Mitchell trying to bring the ball back. Wales through Gavin Thomas, hunting the ball down, but it pops up for Shepherdson. Phillips in there. Gitto. Larkham. Palu. Oh, he's straight through! Jarvis cuts him down, and what an important tackle that was. Henson did so well, he was in there to get the turnover. What a good turnover from Gavin Henson. Jarvis made the tackle and Henson was in there.
If any was going to punch the line for Australia, Palu was the man. Terrific inside pass there, but great defence, great scrambling defence. First of all, Colin Jarvis getting back to put a tackle on Palu. He looked he was home and dry, but a lovely inside pass there. Got past the first tackle, and who's there? Colin Jarvis just grabs his ankle. Henson in there, the jackal. Great steal by Henson. Really up under pressure underneath their own post as well. It's a great chance for Australia there. Great scrambling defence by Wales to rescue.
Listen to him,
Henson
guys.
not renowned for his dog, but he was very good there, showed his hunger. Gitto goes back.
Not straight.
And it wasn't straight. And you get the feeling the Wallabies are going to get a roasting at half-time from their management.
Considering the positions in the field they've been in, really haven't taken advantage of that. Look at the first test, they take advantage of that huge territorial and possession advantage they enjoyed. It was 70% of the ball they had in that first half in the first test. Really did an awful lot with it, and this time again, they spent so much of the game within the Welsh half. Again, critically, error after error put into their game.
Missing Thomas down. Remember, 18 players have been left at home from Wales. Can't consider themselves definite first choices, of course, especially after the first test. Jenkins is growing the depth of the squad. There are going to be some tough selections in August for their World Cup warm-up game against England.
Well, that's what Gareth Jenkins would have wanted. Have to make those tough decisions. Has choice, you know, and having effective choice as well. People who can fulfil a role, but people who can do more than that.
Adam Fryer, the reserve hooker, waiting, lurking. Stephen Moore has had a pretty poor first half at the line out.
Got the hit, you rolled in.
Terry Jones being told to get back 10, penalty.
It seems as though Paul Holness really has got his eye on Kerry Jones now. Let him go. Yeah, 9 penalties conceded as opposed to Australia's 2. It will be annoying Gareth Jenkins, that indiscipline. Forcing him to work that much harder. They will defend that much more often.
But Moore's mind must be internal. Can he hit the likes of Vickerman, Sharp, one of his jumpers? He gets Palu, and that's better. Gitto. Ashley Cooper exploding into the contact. A busy runner. Wales line up defensively. Another penalty comes. This time it's Wales' some very good work to slow the ball up.
Yeah, Ashley Cooper again being penalised, not releasing the ball. Terrific tackle there by Aled Brew. And the ball turned him as well. See, really shielding the ball, preventing Wales from winning it. And you look to be, you can see Colin Jarvis there, as you would expect.
And Gavin Thomas was in there, wasn't he? There's a hooter, and the ball can get banged into the stand for a game that hasn't quite ignited yet, Jan.
Well, the Australian manager will be livid in our first half performance from Australia. I think Gareth Jenkins, the Welsh manager, will be relieved to be 6-0 down. There's still a major question to be asked. Can Wales win enough possession? Is the line out yet again? Too many not straights, really prevent any momentum being generated. Any sort of pattern of play from Wales as well. But they're still in this game, still in with a shout, 6 points down.
So the players leave to boos from the crowd at half-time. It's Australia 6, Wales yet to get on the board.
Plenty of endeavour, but the polish has gone AWOL. It has not been a vintage first half, but Australia do have the lead. Who can sort themselves out at the break and take a grip on this game? We'll have half-time analysis when we come back.
Today, a crucial Euro 2008 qualifier.
Magnificent!
And a must-win for Wales against the Czech Republic.
Wonderful goal!
Sponsored by Sky Bet. Today, 2:30, Sky Sports 2 and HD2.
The Suzuki SX4 now available with 0% finance over 3 years. Suzuki, for whichever path you choose.
Four. Good view. One of me. I make that pins o'clock.
Netgear wireless router. The internet anywhere at home.
Great.
Faster and stronger signal, so good for several people at the same time.
And what about this?
Well, you don't have to do anything. Secure setup all included in the $99.99. Now we've teamed up with the tech guys. They'll visit your home and install it for you, even on weekends.
Brilliant.
Internet prices to take home today. PC World. The best of both worlds.
Thanks again. We'd never been able to get that working on our own.
You're off to a party and you're ready to wow. Because you have the new 7 Signs mask from Olay Total Effects. It gives you instantly smoother looking skin and is concentrated with anti-aging ingredients, making fashionably late even more fashionable. Don't wait to love the skin you're in.
All eyes will be on these men as the race to become British champion is on. The British Speedway Final, Monday at 7:30, live on Sky Sports 1.
Still 2 more games coming your way here on Sky Sports this afternoon. South Africa against England, the second test, a huge ask for the men in white this afternoon. And then the England Saxons play out the Churchill Cup final against the New Zealand Maori. That starts at 4 o'clock again on Sky Sports 1. Half-time in Brisbane, it has not been a classic. Just 2 penalties for Sterling Mortlock so far. James Hook has missed his only chance for Wales, and Wales have got injury problems as well. A terrible injury to Chris Chekai. Jamie Robinson has also left the field. Scott Quinnell and Michael Liner have watched that first 40 with us. Difficult really to find a positive spin on that. What is going on out there?
Well, not much, unfortunately. Australia, haven't got any momentum going at all, and Wales have tackled quite physically, and Australia just can't hold on to the ball. Just poor execution of line-outs from both sides. The scrums have been toing and froing. It's just a very, very disappointing half of rugby. And, one's got to question, what the attitude of Australia is out there. And even the referee had a go at both captains saying, try and play some rugby, try and be a bit more positive about the game. And unfortunately, it's a very negative sort of first half of rugby.
Problems at the set piece for Australia. Where's it going wrong for Wales?
Again, at the set piece as well, and no continuity, not getting into the game, losing possession. Scrum was a little bit ragged early on. Like Michael said, I thought they defended particularly well. It's got a few turnovers, but sometimes you've got to look forward to the next half of rugby, because you certainly can't look back. There was nothing in that. It was one of the worst halves of rugby. The one thing probably both camps said, right, we're playing each other in the World Cup, don't show each other too much. Well, they've certainly done that in the first 40 minutes.
Kept their powder dry, haven't they? Say it as you see it, Scott. I suppose there have been a couple of chances for either side. Australia have strung a couple of things together, haven't they? What have you made of them going forward?
Well, a couple of little breaks, and there's are times where, Larkham, that's beautiful pass, and that was what missing last week. Lovely unload between the forwards here. But then, as we've seen all half, the opportunity's been created, and the ball gets spilt. The ball gets spilled or it gets turned over. There it is again. I mean, there is a little bit of dew on the ground in Brisbane, and it is slippery, but that's no excuse for these guys. This is test match rugby, Sharp, making good breaks there. And this is one of the highlights of the half.
It is, and it's good defence. They have gone a bit wider. Sonny Parker comes across, puts a big hit in there. They spill the ball. It's been the story of the half, really. So far, Paolo, he's been magnificent. He really has run hard, but Colin Chavez gets back there. Gavin Henson needed some time on the park. He's got 60 minutes now. A wonderful turnover by him there, but he is a big man when he's on the run. But normally with an Australian side, you see guys inside, outside them. You're going to offload, and you'll be finishing those opportunities off. Both sides really, like Michael said, the referee had to come in and almost give him a pep talk, say, come on guys, play some rugby. I think even the ref's getting bored.
There has been one bit of bright play for Wales as well. Again, similar problems for them. They can't seem to hold on to the ball, can they?
They do, and the line has been a bit of a problem, and they're going through it. I think Michael Owen has been magnificent in the first half. He really has looked up. He's got over the game line. He's run with power, and they're actually playing with offloads in mind. And Chekai there, unfortunately, had to go off with a nasty injury a little bit later. But they're getting over the game line, and this, unfortunately, is one of very few opportunities that Wales have actually created.
There were lots of unforced errors last week. We were expecting much tidier today. Is this the coach's fault, or have the players got to accept responsibility?
Players most definitely. I mean, the coach doesn't go out there and drop the ball. Coach probably the game plan that they're trying to play. It seems to me, particularly Australia, and what they're trying to do is players are not supporting quickly in the ball carrier, not reacting fast enough. They're sort of, oh, let's go through the motions, let's get the next phase. And unfortunately for the game, the phases aren't coming because there's been drop balls and turnovers.
OK, guys, well, we will hope for much better in the second half. I suppose the positive is that it is still anyone's game, only 6-0 at the moment to Australia. Who will be able to take a grip on this one and try and come out with a win? We'll have the second half for you next. Let's hope it's better.
Get your skates on because Citroën prices are frozen. The economical C1 City car from only $5,895. The spacious 5-door C3 from only $6,995. And on selected C3 models, 0% finance with 35% deposit. Or the Zorro Picasso Desire from just $9,995 with air conditioning. Citroën Summer Deals.
Sorry to disturb you, but I thought you'd want to hear this. Go on. We'll beat your home insurance renewal quote, or refund you the difference up to £100 when you switch.
Nice.
Yeah, and, that's not all. Once you've switched, we'll also give you another 50 quid.
Like it!
Call us for a quote. Home insurance from Barclays. Now there's a thought.
Get in there, 5-1. Peanut scored an own goal. He's getting a drink.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, check the left, right, here. Peanut, turn that off. On left, keep that right. Forward and onwards. Okay, you've just been on that side.
This film continues at armyjobs.mod.uk.
In the old days, if you fancied watching something half decent, you had to sit down when the newspaper told you. Then Sky Plus bowled into your life and that all changed. Now you watched quality stuff whenever you felt like it. Fast forward to 2007 and you clock this thing called Anytime on your TV guide. Get in, you chirp. See, Anytime brings you a tasty bunch of shows via Sky Plus and HD that you might just want to discover. Sky Anytime. Your Sky on demand.
A busy day for rugby fans, but if you want to look elsewhere, there's more live action coming up this afternoon. There's golf for you with the Celtic Manor Wales Open. That's at 1 o'clock on Sky Sports 3. America's Cup Sailing is at 1:30 on Sky Sports Extra, and football with Wales against the Czech Republic at 2:30, Sky Sports 2 and HD2. Let's hope it goes better for the footballers than it's going for the rugby players at the moment, because in Brisbane there has not been a lot to write home about. 6-0 to Australia, 2 penalties from Sterling Mortlock, and I should think there are some pretty frank opinions being expressed in both changing rooms at the moment. Michael, remember that we are a family show, but if you were coach of Australia right now, what would you be saying to your players?
Well, it's a matter of just trying to get the patterns going, to try and get some continuity and holding on to the ball. I mean, they've tried a couple of moves, they've made a few breaks, but then as we saw in the highlights earlier, they're just dropping the ball or it's being turned over. You know, Wales defence is coming in and turning it. So more sort of urgency to get to the breakdown and more control of the ball when they've got it.
OK, well, let's see if they can put those plans into action. Let's cross back to Brisbane and join up with our commentators. Ian Evans is alongside Will Chignall.
Thanks very much. Well, last week the media and a handful of ex-Wallabies were getting stuck into Wales. All changed this week, though. The pack's turned on Australia. Campese as ever, Mark Ellis had a dart. And Bill Young as well, levelling a scorching attack on Connolly. The heat is on the home side.
Not very much so, but the onus should be on the Wallabies. They're the home side, and if they win this game they go second in the world rankings as well. And the inescapable fact is the Wales have left 16 players at home, so Australia be expected to win and win well. But you know, the fact they haven't gives more pressure as well. There's also pressure off the field, you know, criticism of the coaching staff as well. There's always been an interesting clash in styles and the coaching philosophies of Scott Johnson, who was far more adventurous in his style, and John Connolly was possibly more conservative.
This is Mitchell going upfield, and George Gregan is on. Here he is, the world's most capped player, Huxley. Gitto moving into the centres, Larkham still there, and this is Sharp. Fryer is also on at hooker for Moore. Looks like Ashley Cooper has left the field of play. This is Mitchell. Now Ione, he is really quick and sticks his head down and has a go there. And Mitchell playing scrum half, having a go himself now and putting a little bit of pressure on Wales early in this second 40. Advantage being played to Wales, and so they've got a free go at getting points. Gregan, Larkham, Gitto, Palu charging upfield. Good tackle from Charles. Wales fighting so hard on the deck, but they'll have to go back for the penalty. And you look at the 9, 10, 12 for the Wallabies now. Gregan, Larkham, Gitto. Quite a few people think that's going to be the starting 9, 10, 12.
It's got a very familiar ring to it, a lot of experience as well. They're comfortable with each other's play. Mike Owen being penalised for coming in from an offside position, and Alan Brew as well. You can see Digby only with the ball in hands, that instant acceleration. You know, nothing threatens defence more than pace, sheer pace. It petrifies the defences, particularly when you're out in the wide open spaces as well. So they fail to get the ball in his hands that often. They want to do that. Let's see what will happen now with Gregan at scrum half as well. And that changes the sort of pattern of play.
Mortlock won't worry too much about the way the Wallabies are playing at this very moment. He will be desperate to get another 3 points and create a little bit of space between Australia, who are not playing well, and Wales, who dream and strive to try and win here for the first time in nearly 40 years. But it's going to become 3 points harder now. It's 9-0 to the Wallabies.
Yeah, nice kick there from Sterling Mortlock. Good pressure from the ref in terms of running out of time, but he kept his composure. Struck a nice kick. A good start from the Wallabies. Pressure on immediately. Went through the phases there. Yes, but continuity, hold on to the possession.
Gregan, the world's most capped player. He'll be organising his forwards, demanding excellence, and that restart from Aidan Sharp was pretty good.
Leave it 2 reds! Leave it 7 reds!
Gregan, Larkham delaying to Gitto. Gitto getting caught around the ankles there by Sweeney. Fryer coming back. Rocky Elson hardly got a touch in the first 40 minutes, taking it up there.
Yes, managed to cross the gain line though, going backwards.
Gregan sliding. It's Palu, who's looked dangerous, tried to offload, and he does well there. Brew was trying to come in on the intercept, and this is a big chance for the Wallabies to scream over the first try of the night. Ione on his debut, he gets the try.
His first chance to shine, and he takes it on his debut. He's got to try, it's what he wanted, what he dreamt about. Again, he went through the phases there, created the opportunity, created the overlap. Brew thought he had an interception there. See the punch from Palu there, got through, got past the first up tackle. Brew went to the interception, didn't get there, and that created the overlap, but they only to score in the corner. Brew just couldn't get back. That's the threat of Palu though, taking 2 people out, offloading, got into Sharp's hands, and again just created that extra man, nothing Gavin Henson could do, and there's the pace, and there's the joy in the face as well of Ione. Very happy man.
Age 21, making his debut, getting the crowd and his bench on their feet.
So when you go through the phases, you create those overlaps, you create those opportunities. And both sides were guilty of turning over the ball far too often. Australia more than Wales in that first half.
off the upright, but it went the wrong side of the upright from the Wallabies' point of view. But now this is looking challenging for Wales.
See a two-man run across the field there from Gregan, finds Palmer. But look at that offload, takes two defenders out, stays on his feet, past Sonny Parker, and Sonny Parker's been impressive in the first half in defence. Nothing Henson can do. Malibu desperately trying to get back. You're not going to catch a guy like Ione from behind.
Yeah, Gavin Thomas went low. Parker tried to go high to stop the offload, but the strength of Palu really ignited that attack. Wallabies already 5 minutes into the second 40, looking a bit slicker. Larkham, Giteau, actually straightening it up, and Thomas gets the tackle in on Sterling Mortlock. Giteau, oh, he's rapid.
See the benefit of Giteau in the three-quarters now.
Only looking for work, and suddenly the Wallabies are looking very dangerous.
Forward pass, forward transfer, it's come down red.
Wales get the put in.
They've allowed Giteau in the three-quarter line now. He poses more of a threat out wide. He's going to attack with a chance to the possession. 63% to Australia. Enjoying the lion's share in the second. Terrific start, and a lot of that's come from the two restart receptions as well. Good quality catches, good field position as well to launch an attack. Good quality ball from it. And it's that quality of the ball that's been the problem for both sides.
Sterling Mortlock, captain tonight. Well, the Wallabies and the management saying they're trying to grow the captaincy and leadership within the squad. Well, when you've got George Gregan on there, it's done and dusted, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's natural that a guy who's captain Australia for so long, for Australia so often as well, he's going to take charge. You know, he's not at 9 as well. He's going to want to boss the game and make key decisions. It's in his blood.
Crouch, touch, pause, engage.
Wales need to get back at the Wallabies now, and one bounce and in.
I don't know whether that was the right thing to do. He wanted to hold on to the ball for a bit. Wales defended an awful lot in the second half already. Spent some time in possession.
Right across, Greg, right across.
It was a fairly decent scrum by Wales as well. You see the likes of Gareth Thomas running with the ball in hand.
Decent line-out for the Wallabies. Giteau! Nearly through, but pops it up to Palu, and Palu is charging forward. Hook makes the tackle, but it's popped up there. Now driven on by Rocky Elsom. The Wallabies rampaging. Gregan, Larkham trying to thread it across. The referee says that was slightly forward.
Yeah, Wales will breathe a sigh of relief there. Terrific burst initially by Giteau, and a lovely offload again by Palu. You see Rona Takiri watching on with interest. I think the whole club want to see Mane only with the ball in hand. But again, that's the pass from Larkham. But again, it's the burst from Giteau and Palu as well. Palu's going to be more and more evident in the second half.
Parker coming in there on the blitz, trying to cut off the pass. Just about getting away with it. Phillips there. Having a go at Gregan. Jarvis. Owen just crawling his way forward. Phillips into the 22. Sweeney hits that one high. Only inside to Huxley. Mitchell is waiting, and now he gets the ball. Straightening and getting past one. And comes down through the clash with Jarvis, but it's still sharp inside to Ione, and they're popping the ball up and keeping the pace quick.
Again, another great tackle from Jarvis as well. He seems everywhere.
Larkham inside. Gregan. Fryer. Wales trying to steal the ball. Gregan gets hold of it though. Phillips.
Get out of it.
Illegal.
Get away from the ball.
So this looks like a solid three-pointer. Will they get greedy?
It's looking very ominous for Wales as well. Australia enjoying a lot of possession, going through the phases as well. See what they weren't doing in the first half. Far too often they were losing the ball in turnovers. I need some desperate scrambling defence by Wales. You see Horseman looking to come on and try and solidify that Welsh scrum.
He's coming on for Justin Thomas, I think, who might be struggling with his back. Yes, he is.
So you see Kerry Jones move across onto the loose now. The Horseman onto the tight.
And the Wallabies go for the corner. They're gambling. Matt Dunning, number 17, is on and takes the place of Ben Robinson.
You see the confidence on the throw through Australian veins. You know they're in charge of this game at the moment.
Bryan throws and hits sharp, and a very good drive there from Wales to push them back 5 metres or so. Advantage being played to Australia, says the referee. Now the penalty comes. Wallabies
17 red, driving through the line out and taking a jumper.
Thinking about taking it quickly.
Dangerous play. 17 red, driving through the line
Chris
out.
Horseman being penalised there. Getting the support players out, line out.
They've called the scrum, trying to suck in these Welsh forwards. What will Larkham conjure?
You see Drew Mitchell moving in the midfield there. There is a great position. And you can see George Gregan weighing up the options. Some little chat to Mike Phillips.
Come on! Come on! Wake up.
The referee wants everything dead right.
I'm not going to talk again. Quiet.
Gitto just outside Larkham. Mortlock outside him. Mitchell hobbles behind.
Wake up. Wake up. I want your shoulder out and I want you square. I've talked to your previous tight forward. I want you square. Here's the mark.
The scrum, source of frustration for us all at the moment.
AC Ione right on that far left-hand side. Waiting.
Wake up.
A mess again, yet again. Chris Horseman just come on the field.
We're moving in field.
Can the Welsh pack kid a free kick or penalty at scrum time? What a turnover that would be.
I think the Welsh pack are well aware
And you fold in.
of the significance of this scrum. I think if Australia score from this scrum, that opens up a fairly considerable gap, possibly a match-winning gap as well. Good field position. So we'll do a little quick, good ball for Australia.
Gregan just about snatches it back, and this is Larkham. Mortlock bounces his way past one. It's popped up by Smith. Larkham just about gets hold of it. Huxley. Oh, good work from Huxley. Mitchell, can he finish? The tackles come in from Wales. This is ominous. Gregan. Larkham. Gitto's dropped it. Interception. Owen. Charging upfield. Can Wales score here? Brew. Looking for support. There was a big tackle there. Hook comes in. This is the breakout that Wales wanted. Can they retain possession and then take it the length of the pitch?
There's a chance if Bradley Brew put a pass into Gavin Henson, a nice early pass. Chose not to take it. Rue that decision.
Turnover. Gitto chips it. And Phillips. He's got nowhere to go.
There was a chance. Those are chances the Wales took in the first test. And they got away. They finished it off. They were clinical. And they turned those balls over. Time pops up into James Hook's hands. Offloads nicely. There's Michael Owen. That's a very good game so far. And there's the chance. Was there a chance then? Look outside. Gavin Henson standing all alone. Look at that once again in that movement. Ionid stepped in, the right wing.
Good tackle though. High dig by Ione. So the pressure on. Gregan, flat, Gitto. Gets Collard. Penalty. Too high. Collard literally.
That dangerous tackle. Probably back to Kerry Sweeney on Matt Gitto. And then Olive Brew.
And the crowd are very unimpressed. But Mortlock wants to keep the board ticking over.
Silly Mortlock, a little bit aggrieved that those at times preventing them from getting a momentum and good quick ball from which to attack from. Good field positions. He's taking more advantage of that. And again, sometimes their own skill levels let them down a couple of times as well.
So Mortlock. This is easy, and he proves it. 3 points, and the Wallabies, after sustained pressure, take the score up to 17.
Enjoy the start of the second half of the Australians. They've been very dominant in all aspects of the game. You see Jamie Robinson happy there on the touchline, taking a knock in the first half. Very worried faces on the Welsh bench.
Wales still to get on the scoreboard. Mortlock, the Wallaby captain, will be pleased about that. Kicking his way with a tackle. Gitto, nice pick up from Huxley. He was under pressure, and Phillips gave him a bit of a hurry up there.
A very good pick up by Huxley. Because he was putting pressure on. Just saw the strength of Sterling Mortlock there. Good leg drive when he was tackled.
So potentially good ball for Wales. Set piece. The line-out has to be good. It is. Phillips straight through the middle. Beautifully worked. Good strong running up to the 22. The ball slips out. Mevin Davis shovels it to Sweeney, deciding to take it up himself.
The umbrella defence by Australia, cutting off that pass. Terrific line-out move there by Wales.
Gareth Thomas, we haven't seen much of him in attack. He can be so dangerous. He uses his power now. Gavin Thomas sliding and looking for the offload. Henson flicking it on. Owen needs to keep this ball alive, doesn't want to get isolated, deciding to flick it, and Mitchell in there momentarily. It's anybody's. It's a knock-on. So initially the knock forward there from Mitchell.
Yeah, Wales creating the overlap there. Unfortunately, not much pace out there. Wales held on to that ball nicely.
On comes Hibberd to replace Mevin Davis in the hooker's slot. George Smith leaves the field, and he hands his shirt over to Phil Waugh for one of the... It's an ongoing legendary tussle for that number 7 shirt.
It is to have two world-class flankers in your squad.
Your players are still holding players who want to play the game. They've not played the ball, you're still holding on to them.
Let's have that option in this.
We'll don't want any more of it, all right?
Phil Waugh off the bench, or George Smith when Waugh starts. Good quality players to see Mevin Davis. He worked very hard in that first half. Ibar's a very dynamic hooker. You see him carry the ball an awful lot.
Gregan will be trying to cut off this Wales ball at source. Phillips puts it on. Now a plate to Sweeney.
There's a better quality ball from the scrum in the second half.
Play on, says the referee. It's turnover, and it's Palu, and it's Waugh coming in on that sharp angle. It's turnover, it's dangerous, it's lovely hands now, and Mitchell deciding to burn his way around in. The Wallabies closing this game out now. The crowd are on their feet, and the Wallabies are beginning to burn.
Yeah, good turnover ball again, and what Drew Mitchell did very well. He identified who was opposite him. It was Michael Owen, second row, and you fancy your chances of wing one-on-one. Plenty of space inside or outside, and options there. Lovely hands once again. Drew Mitchell looked to pass initially, then saw it was. And then Matt Dunning outside him. You know he'd rather have on the outside. Carry the ball. Drew Mitchell or Matt Dunning. Matt Dunning was trying to keep up with him as well, but you can see Drew Mitchell just spotted who it was. It was Michael Owen. And again, good quality finish by Mitchell. Good turnover ball by Australia there.
And they are ruthless on the turnovers. They showed their Wales in a good attacking position initially.
Yeah, they were enjoying a period of possession. They haven't done very often in this game. Good defence. They forced the turnover, put the pressure on, forced the error. And Drew Mitchell capitalises. Terrific finish by the left wing.
And that's another 2 points to slam on top of quite a scoreline now. 24-0. And remember, considering at half-time it was 6-0. The changes were made. Gregan came on at 9, Giteau went to 12, and what a different side this looks now.
Well, from the outset in that second half, we saw a totally different performance in the Wallabies. You see Nathan Sharp a little bit groggy. They're coming off the field. First by Mark Chisholm.
And Scott Morgan makes his debut for Wales, coming on at lock. What a tall order it is now. Wales yet to get on the scoreboard. Larkham, Giteau, so many footballing options now. Hook goes back, right back. Hasn't got much of an angle. And so thumps it upfield. Larkham gets hold of it now. Huxley looking to play for position as far as Henson. Henson doesn't want to get his hands anywhere near that initially, and he's going to have a run, popping it up. Jonathan Thomas was there to help the replacement fullback, Jarvis.
Wait here. Wait.
Sweeney. Hook. Oh, he's put under pressure. He does extremely well, but he's now got swallowed there with a double tackle. It spits back, and Hibbert tries to get a hold of it, and that was well relieved. And Phillips is really throwing his chances now. Brilliant from him, though. Brew takes it, but it was forward, and Phillips really gambled it. So nearly came off.
Well, even Paul Honest had hard luck, mate, there. A terrific bit of play by Mike Phillips. The obvious thing would have been a kick to touch, but no. Little delicate little chip over the top. Bounced out nicely as well. Looking for the offload, and just went forward. Tried to find Ali Brew on the outside. A lovely bit of skill from Mike Phillips there.
Still, Mitchell got back there to make the tackle. 24-0. A quarter of the match left, and
Hookers, we talked about it before the game. Over the mark, please.
all the momentum that Wales created from that first test is possibly going to evaporate if Australia put a monstrous score on here.
Crouch, touch, pause, engage.
We need to keep going until the end of this game.
Moving off the mark.
And instead of building up a big score, that to happen.
Get over here.
So far, I
Let's do
think
what you're
Wales have looked
supposed to
back
do
at this
out
tour, and it's been a pretty positive one. The second half really has been all Australia. Really have moved up again in the second half. Held onto the ball, made the right decisions, and they weren't doing either of those things in the first half.
Ward trying to chip it through. The ball just not being kind for Gareth Thomas. He wanted it to sit up. He wanted a chance to counter-attack and take advantage of a possible turnover.
Phil Ward to carry that ball. He's quite fortunate that bounce didn't go in field.
The line-out's been a lot slicker for the Wallabies since Fry's come on. War gets hold of it. It's driven back well, though, by Wales. And Palu to Gregan, delaying his pass, and Huxley comes in. Chipping, he's looking to collect. It would be a super try! It's going to be a cracker!
Great try, great skill from Julian Huxley. But what about that play from George Gregan as well? Years of experience, past the legs. Not as strong as he were before, but he's got that knack of making the right decision at the right time. Lovely bit of play. Releases Huxley, great chip. There's no one at home in defence. For the offload, lovely scissors there from George Gregan. What time Julian Huxley had to make that decision to put the chip in there. Very little time. Mike Phillips is standing in front of him there. And quick as a flash, decides to put the chip on. Lovely scissors. Lovely little chip. Good skill level there. That ball has set up nicely. Well worked try. Desperately able to hold on here. Can't afford Australia. Post a big score.
Gregan showing his worth and experience there.
Definitely. So many games, so many things to call back on. With the mind, the Rolodex and the brain going through. What are the options open to me? Using the players around him, making the right decision.
Huxley's been under pressure. He made his debut last week. He had to wait quite a while for that. He's aged 27, but he'll feel very good about that now. Mortlock. He's had too many chances at conversions for Wales's liking. But he threads it between the uprights. It's beginning to look ugly for Wales now.
Yeah, he's got a nice rhythm going in his kicking at the moment, as you see Matt Giteau going off the field. Offload from Palu was evident once again. Scissors. And a lovely kick. Just sits up nicely to finish off. And nothing Henson to do, get across there in time.
And the basics looking reasonable for the Wallabies. But Wales have done well. Play on, says the referee. Ione! Oh, he's nearly away. He is away.
You saw that step from Ione.
Larkham is looking ruthless now. Mortlock inside to Palu, charging his way forward. Mark Gerard, who is on there, can't quite take the ball. And they are cutting Wales almost at will now.
Yeah, that's scrambling defence. Good, quick thinking by Fryer initially from the quick throw. Lovely offload. It's when those offloads come is when Australia look very good. Using the likes of Mortlock and Palu. And carry the ball. That's what Australia want. Good, quick, quality ball. You see Mark Gerard just not getting on, keeping hold of that ball.
So Gerard, who's gone into the centres, looks like Giteau's gone off. And he's up. He'll want to take part in the latter stage of this game.
There's a rhythm and a tempo to Australia's game we didn't see in the first half, because they weren't able to hold on to the ball for long enough, go through the phases, and the quality of the ball wasn't good enough as well.
17
That's
red.
what attacking sides want.
Good
quality, quick
you
balls.
stay square for me, or I will penalise you, all right?
Horseman getting the big warning from the referee, saying he will get penalised if he doesn't stay straight. Phillips. Hook. Brew. Banging that one upfield.
And the pass just taking him a little bit wide. I want to run on to that. But again, the scrum has looked a little bit more solid since Chris Horseman's come on. At least they're getting that ball out wide. They're able to build something from it. But really, Australia have been pretty ruthless in the second half. It's been an impressive second half performance. It's a pretty woeful first half performance.
25 unanswered points in the second half. Those changes from the likes of Fryer wearing 16. Gregan at 9 produced results. Here is Gregan. Short war, timing his run, and it looks slick now. Larkham. Palu's put the holes in. Here's Gerard. Looking for another one, Henson makes the tackle. Play on, says the referee, the ball is open, but the Wallabies get hold of it. Gregan, Larkham. Mortlock has to go back for it and pops it inside, but it's been stolen by Wales. Gavin Thomas went down on the ball. Hook just smashes that one upfield. Good clearance, an important clearance.
Yeah, Wales regrouped well there. Desperate defence really is keeping Australia out. Sweeney and Gavin Thomas really has given a wholehearted display. A lovely offload there to Gerrard. And just come onto the field, stretching his hamstrings about that. Terrific tackle by Gavin Henson to get across. But scrambling Welsh defence.
Australia are going to have a real go now. Gregan inside flick, it doesn't work. First error you think he's almost made since he's come on.
Yeah, very much so. I often see that trademark inside flick from George Gregan over the years. And there seem to be so much the depth Australia have at the moment because they're comfortable holding on to the ball. They go through the phases, and so runners can hold their depth and pick their angles, and they hit those angles at pace. Very little defences could do at times. Wales aren't able to slow down the ball as they did in the first half.
Palu gets a big clap from the bench. He's had a big game. He's knocked some dents, made some holes.
Yeah, very powerful runner. Gets across the game line, looks to offload in the contact area as well. Takes 1 or 2 tacklers out every time. Very rarely dies with the ball. And it's nice having that sort of impact runner in midfield.
He's had a thumping game. And Hoyles, who scored the try after the hooter in the first test to win it for the Wallabies, comes on. Southern Taylor replacing Gavin Thomas.
Gavin Thomas is a very solid game, giving his all.
This is Phillips sliding and now having a go. It's dragged to the floor from Mortlock, but the ball is good for Hook. It's been knocked on. Advantage being played to the Wallabies. Scott Morgan can't take it. He was at full tilt.
Cross forward, scrum, goal.
Perhaps he needed to hold his depth a little bit there. Really pressurised the pass. That was a difficult take to make there. And he took his eyes off the ball as well. Could see plenty of green and gold jerseys in front of him.
He was going to get a smack. He did get a smack.
There's been a lot of handling errors. Well, the bulk of those have probably been in the first half rather than the second. You see Colin Chalmers once again has given his all.
And you get the feeling that quite a lot of ex-Wallabies have been saying put Gregan at 9 and Giteau at 12, and there might be a bit of told you so in tomorrow's papers.
I think so. It seems to be that the coaches want to see Giteau play at 9, but again, it sounds so comfortable having George Gregan at 9, Stephen Larkham at 10 and Matt Giteau at 12. They're so comfortable together. So this game inside and out. And again, we're quite interested to see what happens. Obviously, they play Fiji in a week or so. See a bit of a dust-up on the field.
They've been having a chat.
Okay.
But quite interested to see what happens throughout the Tri-Nations, which is coming up fast.
Here's our mark, gentlemen.
What happens there? What selections the Australian management make.
They've got Fiji in Perth next week and then into the Tri-Nations. The first game up, South Africa in Cape Town. Larkham trying all the tricks now.
Play on!
Play on, says the referee. Henson goes back, he's under pressure. And he spills the ball. Brew now sweeps, and that was a lovely pick-up from him. Did extremely well, but it's down Huxley's throat. And the pressure continues to be on in a major way. Pass forward, just being knocked on.
The pressure's coming on Wales though. Australia attacking in waves and waves. When that ball is kicked downfield, and he bounces in the halfway line. Great chance for counter-attacking from Australia. Julian actually did very well here. Actually stood his defender up. Nice step, the lovely step. Looked to make the pass, and he only wasn't looking at the ball. He's looking ahead of the white line. He fancies a chance of crossing, but good play by Huxley.
He's had a good second test, hasn't he?
Yeah, a little bit nervy at times in the first test. It's definitely second now. This game in particular, he's improved, got more comfortable with it. And he's getting used to the surroundings, getting used to the players around you, getting used to the circumstances. International rugby is vastly different from any other type of rugby.
And just as Wales thought they were getting some real momentum, looking towards the summer break, bang, Australia put 31 on them with 10 minutes to go.
Everyone's looking ahead to this pool game between Wales and Australia. A huge degree of interest. I think the two teams are very evenly matched when the best teams are out.
Horseman singled out there. Of course, it's that massive Pool B game, the 15th of September. That's the big one. Wales against the Wallabies in Cardiff.
I think one of the hopes Wales would have had put some doubts in Australia's mind. And after the first test, we thought those doubts would have been there. But it's a terrific second half performance by Australia.
Larkham's made it all look so simple, hasn't he? His distribution.
But quality players always make the game look simple.
Wales still fighting, still trying, still stealing ball. Up it goes from Phillips. And Brew is chasing now. It's a good box kick, that. Really good box kick, and that was extremely well taken, mind you. Mahoney.
Yeah, good play all-rounder. Mike Phillips, a terrific kick. A terrific kick by Mahoney under pressure from Brew.
War starting to take it up. Connolly calls him a tough little rooster. This is Gregan. Huxley times his pass well. The Wallabies looking to finish with aplomb, but Wales are having none of it. So as we go towards the back end of this match, Wales still to get on the scoreboard. Can they do something from deep? Driven up from Hibbert. Hook, chipping that one across. The ball is anybody's. And now it's Mortlock's. The referee says it was clearly a knock-on.
There's a couple of knock-ons there. Certainly Mortlock thought he was away. Dink over the top, it again by Wales. And Drew Mitchell knocked the ball on into Sterling Mortlock's hands. Spot by Paul Honest, the referee there. Mortlock did feel he was away.
So just about on halfway. Wales, after a very long season, trying to conjure something.
Yeah, there look some very tired bodies out there for Wales. It's been a very demanding season, all domestically and international-wise for a lot of those players. And hence the decision by Gareth Jenkins to rest so many of their key players back home in Wales.
Andy Williams is on for Phillips, who limps off. Williams gets his 5th cap. Larkham, who will be wrapped in cotton wool. The Wallaby management have said that going into the World Cup. Such a crucial element. Swing caught by Gregan. Owen checking his options and then going route one. Williams hovering. It's short and the tackles come clattering in.
He's been pointing at Larkham, so dependent on Australia on him, playing that pivotal role at 10.
It's all narrow at the moment from Wales on the short side, and now they split. And again, trying to punch a hole in the Wallaby defence. Individuals are trying things. Does work for Wales, thanks to the little chip through from Sweeney. Quick ball now, Jarvis. Drilling it to Huxley. Oh, getting the touch, mate.
And Jarvis really has been impressive for Wales. He's given everything he's got out there. Scrambling defence at that time. A bit of skill from the man as well. And a big hit on Huxley. A little grubber kick through. Pushes George Gregan out of the way. And then a big hit on Huxley. He's given everything from start to finish in both these games for Wales. I'm sure he's going to have a role to play within the World Cup squad.
So maybe Wales to put one home over the Wallabies for the last points of the evening. Not if the line-out doesn't work. The Wallabies will be thinking we can score from our own try line. Mitchell.
Mitchell's looked lively all day, very powerful, elusive runner.
Nasty ball for Larkham, but of course the pass is absolutely perfect. Larkham comes back for the return pass, but the referee says you have to blow the whistle there.
That's what you get from Stephen Larkham, that composure, that skill level as well. Puts that pass in the bread basket, picks it up off his toes as well. He'll be stretching those hamstrings of his. And a lovely offload. Put in the hole, and he's there for the pass as well. Plenty of life left in those legs still. He's so critical to Australia's chances, not only in the Tri-Nations but also in the Rugby World Cup as well.
And after the World Cup, Gregan retires and goes to Toulon in France. Larkham, he's signed for Edinburgh. That'll be over 200 caps worth of experience lost in the decision-making positions.
It's a big blow, and a lot of the talk in Australia has been the fact there's no understudies, but when you've got two players who are so dominant in their positions for such a long period of time, there's no chance to blood a youngster and develop anybody else behind them.
Can Wales have a dominant 3 minutes or so at the end? Good hands. Henson trying to thread it through to keep this move alive. The Wallabies go back and just about get a hold of possession. Huxley was the man who went down on the ball to recover the situation.
Good couple of minutes so for Wales. Enjoyed a bit of possession as well. Good past the Australian defence. A bit of continuity. A nice, decent way to finish, but really it's been about all Australia in the second half.
Wales have been trying to grow their squad. It has been a series to try and find out who can step up.
Yeah, very much so, and they've looked at the plus points for Wales in this mini tour, 2 tests. Look at the back row, you see Jonathan Thomas, Gavin Thomas, see Takiri there, be for victory sign up. I hope it was anyway. But the likes of Jonathan Thomas, as I mentioned, Gavin Thomas, Colin Jarvis has been impressive, Michael Owen he was on as well. I think the performance of James Hook is also, the assurance is growing in him game on game. Been a big plus.
He hasn't had much ball either in the first or the second test to show his running game. Jarvis there, still full of attitude. Owen has got his hands on the ball a significant amount. Gary Jones taking it up. Andy Williams wanting this ball. It spills forward from Hibbard. Larkham. He's not going to kick it, is he? He's going to run it. And Huxley almost a charge down.
Well, the referee takes it back to the initial knock on. Lost the ball from Richard Hibbard. There's a little bit of an experience there. A great chance for Wales. Gareth Thomas could sniff out yet another try to add to his international tally. Pressure there from Sonny Parker.
A week ago, at about this time, Wales were winning 23-22. It all looked so good. And now, just a week later, they've been smacked 31-0. It has been a tough second test.
Yeah, I think both teams are looking back on these 2 tests and take a little bit out of it.
Free kick to Wales. One last chance. Up it goes from Hibbert. Not 10, so Wales get another chance. There goes the hooter. This is the last play. The Wallabies will want to defend their line. Wales want to finish this one strongly, and Jarvis climbs through. Surely he deserves a try. Can he get the ball down? The Wallabies try and get underneath him. It's held up, says the referee. That's the final whistle.
And if anybody deserved a try for Wales, it would have been Colin Jarvis. Unfortunately, it wasn't happening. But I think both teams can claim something away from this two-test tour. Wales performance really pressurising Australia in the first test, considering there's so many players are back home as well. Second half, the second test is all about Australia, and they developed a pattern of play, so a lot more confidence and intent in their way, and a bit of continuity in their performance as well in the second half, and they've gained something from this second test performance.
So after a scintillating finish last week, the Wallabies confirmed their superiority in this test series with another win, and in doing so will lift the new James Bevan Trophy. That from this year will be played for between the two countries. Wales showed heart and attitude, but it wasn't quite enough, was it, to crack the Wallabies. The home side are tough competitors on their own patch. Final score here at the Suncorp Stadium, 31-0 to Australia.
So Australia comprehensive winners in the end. We are now at the halfway stage of our whistle-stop tour of World Rugby. There are still 2 games to come.